Hey, what's up, guys? My name's Brandon, and welcome to Audio Addiction, where we do album reviews, we do band interviews, and we do live episodes every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'd love to see you guys in the chat, as well as please subscribe and like these videos if you for sure like what I'm doing and the content that I'm putting out. Um, Please make sure to just like these videos. It really helps our channel out. It helps us get in touch with other bands, and hopefully we can just grow this channel. But again, I'm getting away from myself tonight, as you can read by the title. We're going to be talking about Boys of Fall's last album. It's called Thank You and Goodbye. They are a local band out of Detroit, Michigan, and I feel like they're an underrated band. I know they did like a few recordings with Johnny Frank of Attack Attack, as well as Mike Martinson, one of their vocalists. Um, he did vocals for Jared Alonge is his album. I forget the first one, but basically that album, Beating a Dead Horse. And he did like most of the like Amidst the Gray's Demon tracks and stuff like that. But I never really gave his band a listen up until after that album because I just haven't heard of them. But I mean, I feel like I've been missing out on quite a lot of music from them. They have been around for a long time, and it's sad to see them go this way because I'm just finding out about them about like with a few other people. I'm sure it's tough because like you want to support these bands, but then they wind up disappearing because they don't have enough money or whatever to continue doing their dreams. So I feel really bad that I hadn't supported them earlier on, but again, I didn't know about them, so I figured the least I could do is do an album review on their newest album and their last album. But basically, this band reminds me a lot of A Day to Remember, City Lights, and I would probably say a little bit of 4 Years Strong. They just have that strong pop punk vibe with some, metalcore and post hardcore influences in most of these tracks. It's a pretty significant album. It's got 13 tracks, which is awesome. And I think they redid a few of them, especially 12 and 13, Holy Smokin' O's and Enigma. They redid those for Johnny Frank when they were in the studio. But we'll start off with the first track. It's called Thanks for the Burgers. They released a video for it. I'll make sure to link all of the videos in the description of all their music videos so you can check it out, as well as if you'd like to purchase their album, which I highly recommend you checking out. But the first track, Thanks for the Burgers, and an awesome like pop punk kind of anthem track. It's just basically thanking people for like their hospitality over the years and just people like giving their band a listen. And I feel bad because like I honestly didn't give him a listen until shortly after that Jared Alonge album because I was like, man, this guy's got some good like some really good vocals, and I'm excited to check out his band. And like his band has been around for quite some time. They did like covers and stuff like that, and I feel really bad that I just didn't really get into them as soon as I should have because they are an awesome band. But again, getting back to Thanks for the Burgers, a solid track, intro track to start off with. You definitely get that pop punk vibe instantly, and just it's got awesome melodies. And Johnny Frank knows what he's doing for sure. And I'm sure that when they were in the studio, that these tracks and melodies, he was like, you should do this instead, and stuff like that. I mean, I don't know necessarily because I wasn't there, but I just feel like that's the type of person he is, and just like the type of producer he is. But I really enjoyed this track, and again, it kind of sets up the rest of the album for being a really awesome killer album. The second track is Always Sunny in Arkadelphia. This was, I think, their first track that they released with a video, if I'm not mistaken. But another solid track. It's a little bit heavier. It has definitely a metalcore vibe to it a little bit, as well as the pop punk vibe. And I love that I don't know if it's their guitar player or somebody does like the backup vocal parts in each of these tracks like on the album, and I just feel like their voices, Mike's and the other guitar player, forgive me, I don't know his name, but I just feel like those two voices meld really well together. And Mike's screams are extremely awesome, and just like the track is beautiful. Uh, Another solid track to start this record off with. Um, Track number 3 is called "Pass Me By," and it's another awesome track. They also did another video for it. I think they did a video for "Thanks for the Burgers," "It's Always Sunny in Arkadelphia," "Pass Me By," and I think "I Learned My Lesson." So the first 4 tracks off the record. But "Pass Me By" is another awesome track, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, on by a Facebook post that they made, is this track is basically for all of the labels that, like, didn't give them the chances that they deserve, like, and they definitely deserve to be on a label at least, like, and I feel like they would have been an awesome touring band just to see live, and I feel like they put on an awesome show. But another super solid track, very pop punky kind of vibe to it, again with like the metalcore. I know I keep referencing the "A Day to Remember," but I get some super strong "A Day to Remember" vibes in this whole entire album, in fact. But it's another solid track. The fourth track, "I Learned My Lesson." It starts off really like soft and stuff, and then they start picking up with the guitars, the drums, the bass, everything kicks in, and again, it's another awesome pop punk song. I'm super stoked on that song as well, and the videos that they put out for these tracks are really awesome as well, and I think they kind of showcase the band in their best light. Um, but another awesome solid track. I've really enjoyed each and every single track. I don't think this track has screaming. I know "It's Always Sunny in Arkadelphia," and I don't know if "Thanks for the Burger" has some screams, but I know for a fact the "Always Sunny in Arkadelphia" has some screams in it. But again, super solid track, and I love the way that Mike uses his vocals, just the mix of screaming and singing, and then the guy who plays guitar that also does backing vocals does a awesome job, like, filling in some of the tracks. It would have been cool if they did some like harmonizing parts. That would have been sick. But again, I'm getting nitpicking a little bit. We'll move on to track number 5. That's All She Wrote. It's an acoustic track, and it kind of reminds me of any like sort of "A Day to Remember" acoustic track. But beautifully written. Both vocalists shine strongly on this track. I think even more than any of the 4 previous tracks that I mentioned. But again, it gets to show, like, the versatility of this band. There are 2 acoustic tracks on this album, and it just shows like the different type of versatility between the 2 vocalists. I don't think like I think Mike is the main vocalist, but I know the other guy does a lot of the vocal parts as well. So it's cool to see them switch off, and just this track is another beautiful track. It's a slow one, but I really enjoyed it so much. So this album has been really solid as of late, and I'm gonna continue jamming it, but I'm kind of getting away from myself. So track number 6 is "Pissing Off the Neighbors." The track title is kind of funny, but it definitely has that pop punk vibe to it. Again, most of these tracks are going to have pop punk essence to them, along with like post hardcore and like metalcore. But I feel like this one has more of a City Lights, "A Day to Remember" style music to it. Again, another brilliant track from these guys. I really enjoyed this album. It kind of, again, I'm gonna just keep referencing "A Day to Remember," but they kind of sound like if they went on tour with "A Day to Remember," like, it would have been awesome, because they have a very similar sound to them. I'm sure that they have been influenced by "A Day to Remember" for sure, because you can definitely tell in the style and the writings of each tracks. They just have that, I don't know, just that "A Day to Remember" feel. If you think I'm wrong, you can comment in the section below and just let me know why you think that they're different. But again, I just give this album a listen and let me know your thoughts, guys. But moving on to track number 7, it's Sour Patch Children's. I don't know if that's right or not, but another solid track. It's probably one of the heavier tracks off the record, along with Arkadelphia. You can definitely hear Mike's awesome screaming ability, as well as his cleans. I feel like he's a very unique vocalist in that he can, scream really well, and he can carry his cleans extremely well as well. And just with the added guitar player and his vocals, I just feel like this band, whoever didn't sign this band, is kind of stupid, because they just have all the qualities that make a solid band. So I'm super sad to see them go. But we'll move down to track number 8, No Place Like Home. It kind of starts off slow with some acoustic guitars, and then it gets a little bit more pop punky, as I think between the 30 and 40-second mark. Another solid track. I really have enjoyed all of these tracks on this album. It's a great mix of pop punks, metalcore, post hardcore, just like a plethora of different sounds within the pop punk and metalcore and post hardcore kind of sound. So definitely another solid track. Track number 9, My Promise to Marilyn. They did release this track as a single a while back, but I don't know if they re-recorded this one or not. But another super solid track. If you haven't checked the video out for that one, I kind of went back into their catalog and listened to some of their older tracks, and this one was another solid one. I think it's one of their more popular ones, and I'm kind of glad that they either redid it and that it also made it on the album, because it's another super solid track. Track number 10, Under My Skin. That was also another song that they recorded as well. I don't know if they recorded it with Johnny, but maybe they re-recorded it for this album as well. Another super solid track. If you haven't heard that one, again, it's got that. These all have these pop punk vibes to it, underlying pop punk vibes to it, as well as post hardcore, metalcore kind of sound to them. Another solid track. And track number 11, Thank You and Goodbye, is an acoustic track, and I think this is one of my favorites off the record. I know, like I've said, all of these tracks are solid, but I feel like this one you really get to see the utilization of Mike's and the other guitar players' vocals in this track. It's just, it's nice to have a clean guitar, like a clean acoustic track with, awesome clean vocals in it. And I feel like that just met my expectations and more in this track, just because it's so powerful, because they're thanking everybody, whether it be other bands or people who support them. They're just saying thank you for all the love and support, and it's just a really good feel good track, as well as just being a solid track in general. So I would probably say that's one of my favorites. We'll move on to track number 12. It's Holy Smokin' O's, and they redid this one. I think it was on their EP, their first EP, and I think it featured Garrett Rapp from The Color Morale initially, but obviously since they redid it, it doesn't feature him on the track. But again, I don't even think you needed him, because this track is just such a solid track. Definitely more of a metalcore vibe in this track for sure. Definitely enjoyed this one. It's probably one of the heavier ones, along with Enigma, Arkadelphia, and probably Sour Patch Cheerins. Those 4, I think, are the heaviest. But getting back to Holy Smokin' O's, awesome track. Definitely one of my favorites off the record as well. I know it wasn't, I guess, pop punky, but I definitely enjoy the metalcore vibe and how they've kind of grown and evolved over the years. Definitely, after listening to all of the records and then listening to this one, it's really cool to see the progression that they've made over the amount of years that they took to record all of these EPs, records, and singles and such. And the last track is called Enigma. Like I said, they redid this one, but I don't know if it was necessarily on an album. I couldn't find it on their Bandcamp. I did find Holy Smokin' O's. That's how I knew that they redid it. Maybe it was just a B-side track or something like that. But another super solid track. Probably another one of my favorites off this record for sure. And just a good way to end off the record. I mean, it's a heavier track, but I just feel like you've gone through some like ups and downs in this album, and this just a way to end it on that track was awesome. But my overall pros and cons about this album, pro being that they do sound a lot like A Day to Remember. Now that could be seen as a negative because you could be like, oh well, they sound a lot like A Day to Remember, why don't I just listen to A Day to Remember? Don't get me wrong, they do have that A Day to Remember vibe, but they also have, two vocalists. They have awesome screams, and I just feel like it does sound A Day to Remember esque, but again, I feel like it's a totally different beast. Like, I just feel like it's amalgamation of different bands together, which makes them super unique to what they do. And definitely, just each track on the album was super solid. I don't feel like I've gotten tired of listening to all of these tracks in a row, and I've listened to them quite a few times now. And I love the diversity in the acoustic tracks. I feel like that's another pro on this album, is that, they're able to utilize, acoustic tracks to show off their vocal abilities and such. And there's also a good mix of heavier tracks. Like, it's not just all pop punk, there are some heavier tracks. And I just feel like the versatility between all of the songs was just awesome. Some cons, I mean, besides them leaving and not making another album, because again, I love seeing progression of bands. I love seeing, bands really try to experiment in what they do. I feel super sad and my heart is heavy for these guys because I really enjoyed this album, and I'm sad that, I came late to the boat. I mean, just again, probably one of my favorites of this year, just based off of like solid songwriting. There are a good mix of heavy and soft tracks, and the vocals, the whole band as a whole is just solid, and it's just sad to see a band like that just go out like this. I just feel like they deserve more time, and I hope they, down the line, that maybe they'll get back together and record another album or something. But I wish them the best either way. But again, this album is super solid. I really can't say if I have any cons besides them just breaking up. That's the only thing that I can really say. And I would give this album probably like an 8.5 or a 9 out of 10. It's just a solid song. The songwriting in this album is impeccable. Each track is, has a lot of emotion and carries throughout the tracks, and there's a good mix, like I said, of cleans and screams. There also are some softer tracks, so if you don't want to just listen to straight, metalcore or straight pop punk songs, there are some acoustic tracks that kind of break up the monotony of the album, as well as there are tracks that have more pop punk influence. There's tracks that have more metalcore influence. There's more tracks that have more post hardcore influence into it. So I just feel like there's an awesome variety of songs in this album. Just to me, again, super solid record. Pick it up. It's called Boys of Fall. Thank You and Goodbye. They have it on their Bandcamp. You can also pick it up on iTunes as well. I don't think they'll do any physical albums. I think the physicals will be remaining at their shows. So if you live in the Detroit area, definitely check their band out, and then try to go to the farewell show, because I would love to see them live. Obviously, I live in Jersey, so that doesn't really help out, but I wish the best of luck to all of them, and hopefully they get to see this, because they are an awesome band, and I feel like they deserve the time, even though they are kind of out now. Just an awesome band, and you guys should highly recommend you check this album out. Even if you don't purchase it, I just feel like it's just an awesome album to listen to jam to like put in your car and just drive. It's just one of those albums that just an awesome songwriting, awesome mix of tracks, and like I said earlier. So guys, what do you think of my review of the Boys of Fall? Thank You and Goodbye. If you liked my review on it, please hit that thumbs up. It really helps out our channel, and please subscribe. We do a lot of different things, and I hope to be doing a lot more stuff coming up. We've got interviews that come out every Monday now. Um, and we got just a bunch of other things in the works. And we're super excited to, do all this stuff. So, also let me know what albums you'd like me to do a review on. I just found this band, so I figured, and they're going away, because they're disbanding. I just figured I'd do a review just in case anybody was interested in this band. I mean, me personally, myself as being a fan, I really enjoyed this album, so I wanted to do a review on it. So let me know in the comments what album you'd like me to review next, and I'll definitely get on it, give it a listen, and hopefully I'll have it up pretty soon. So thank you guys for checking out my video of Boys of Fall album review. Thank you and goodbye, and I'll talk to you guys in the next episode. All right, see you later. Peace.